Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Woo! You now rocking with One Nation Radio. Welcome to the program. James Boyd, Richard Latta, and a couple friends with the show for your wrestling needs. Shopping out the rest of the IWC. We gon' tell her how it is. We gon' shoot from the hip. If they putting out trash, we gon' rip from the bits. Make sure that you tweet us and you rate the shows. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Now let's get it on the road. Hey. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports.
Welcome to One Nation Radio. And now here are your hosts, Rich Latta and James Boyd. And thank you for listening.
SocialSuplex.com. BWB, what's up?
What's good? It's Wale, and this is One Nation Radio. You already know.
Welcome to the December 10th edition of One Nation Live. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just watching NFL football, which is kind of weird for me this year so far. Like, I know you did your whole or did your little protest. That won't be funny. Did your little protest on the NFL after what's been going on with Kaepernick being blackballed. I didn't follow, but I didn't even have to really go on a protest. Like, the football's been so bad and generally boring, and most of these teams been mucked that I haven't even really I didn't have to really put my basically say I'm done with y'all, but it has not really inspired much. Even though my team is 2 seed in the conference right now, it's still most of the football is dude. You look at the 1 o'clock slates, you're like, okay, Kirk Cousins versus.
How long you expect
Case Keenum? Do I really want to sit here and watch that?
I was gonna say how long you expect Case Keenum to keep going before the wheels fall off, because it can happen at any time, James.
You're right, but he still keeps playing well. I mean, and that's a testament to when you have 2 of the 10 best wide receivers in football, you can be as mediocre as you've always been, and your numbers expand. If people didn't realize it before, it's kind of like what happened with Ryan Fitzpatrick a couple years ago. Yeah. It's this dude's playing really well, and then he throws him out the playoffs. But you're playing with Brandon Marshall, a guy that's always open because you throw wherever he'll get open. You have a chance when you have talented people around mediocrity. So.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, man, we appreciate everyone that's been listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network. The network is growing every week. Welcome to the network, keeping it strong style. Those guys had an awesome week. Also, make sure you guys check out the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. What up to Ricky and Clive? They were talking about a column I wrote last week. It had to do with Daniel Bryan. We're actually going to talk a little bit about that. And also the SMC Podcast. Those gentlemen from the Red Staters, as we say.
No, I call them no coaches. You can call them the Red Staters all you want
to. The Red State Podcast.
So, hey, I got a quick question, right?
Yeah.
So, with Ricky and Clive, that's 2 people, right?
Yeah.
Me, One Nation Radio, me and you, that's 2 people, right?
Yep.
Keeping It Strong Style, that's 2 people, right?
That's 2.
The SMC Podcast, that's 3 people, right?
You got it.
So, why are we calling her? So now that there's 9 of us, why are we making all kinds of Wu-Tang references?
Why aren't we?
Why aren't we? Why not? I mean, cause look. Then you gotta take it back. Cause if one of y'all say I'm you God or
we got some fight. Oh man. Yeah, So let us know who is who. If you had to compare all of us across the Social Suplex Podcast Network to Wu-Tang Clan members, who will we all be?
I would like to be considered Ghostface, but I don't really snort cocaine like that. So
no fish scale, James.
It's kind of iffy.
Yeah, no fish scale. But let's get into it, man. We've been bullshitting long enough. All right, man. So the first thing we're going to talk about is an unfortunate situation. Rich Swann was arrested late last night and held under false imprisonment and battery. It sounds a lot worse than what you might think based on, or excuse me, those words make it sound a lot worse than when you read the report, like what happened. But this is all allegations. This is in a police report, so we don't have all the facts because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not prone to just trust police. So James, did you hear about the whole thing?
I mean, I pretty much got what you sent in one of our groups online, in a message chain. So, I mean, why is he suspended indefinitely? Are they waiting to find out if there's something that can possibly keep him employed? And if that's the case, like, what are you holding out on hearing it where he wouldn't need to be fired? I don't understand.
Well, the deal is they have like a zero tolerance policy, and then if they're convicted, they're automatically fired. So what they do is suspend people, like in they put them in a state of abeyance, essentially, like the WWE Championship back in 2011. But
but what I'm saying is, like, why even do the suspension? Just fire him.
I mean.
What else do you need to know?
I mean, that's their policy. Like, they want to make sure. I think they do that for protection wise. Like, as far as like, we don't mean to say this, but the rules aren't the same for everybody. Like, if it came out next week that Randy Orton was beating his wife, right, and then they didn't have all the facts, or it was a murky situation. I won't say beating his wife. Let's say it was a murky situation that we didn't really have all the details on and all that. They wouldn't want to have to just fire Randy Orton. So that's kind of what I think they have in line with it. But, he was arrested in Gainesville just after midnight on December 10th on charges of battery and false imprisonment. And his victim is his wife of 9 months, Su Yung, independent wrestler extraordinaire. And the false imprisonment is a felony charge. So the deal with it is, so the story goes, like, he was critiquing her performance and began getting angry with her. And then the victim got scared that the argument was going to escalate and got out of the car in the area, in Gainesville. And then Swann stopped the car in the middle of traffic in... what's her name? Su Yung jumped out the car, and then apparently he chased her and yelled, to get back in the car. I mean, all this stuff isn't really important, but it's just a crazy situation. I just hope, both of these folks come out. I enjoy both of their work a great deal. I just hope everything's okay with them. Rich Swann was supposed to wrestle tomorrow night. That's obviously not happening. But yeah, and you guys can go find the police reports and all that. And this is sad to see. Like, if it's the end for this guy, he's gone through so much to get here. His story is well documented, as he was, he was homeless for a while. He was working the independent scenes up and down for years. We were actually in attendance at his very last independent match where he jumped off the fucking he jumped off like the roof essentially of the place we were at and into the ring, and it was crazy. But yeah, man, what do you think about, what do you make for Swann about this?
I hope that they both get help. Like, for you to be in a situation, regardless of I don't know what all happened, what damage was done between the two, but when you're getting out of moving cars, like, there's something really fucked up going on. And I hope that both of them can get some type of help. Her, as far as, whether or not her be able to, find some type of counsel and figure out of, she needs to move on or whatever she needs to do to take steps to protect herself in the future or whatever else. And then him, he needs help because clearly there's something going on, as far as, involving anger and all types of other stuff that's going on with him. So he needs, they both need help. So, I wish them the best. And, if they don't need, if this situation where they need to be apart from each other, then so be it. If it's for the better, if it's for the, the sake of her in particular and also him.
Yeah. Go to a couple of these comments. We got a comment from Joshua Smith. # free Swann. Josh also says, free my dog Swann.
What?
Sergio says, I think it's better not to fire them right away just in case that it's a false report. And I think that's why they do the whole suspension thing. He said, not saying he did or didn't. Personally, I don't think it's false, but it's better to not take action before knowing all the facts. If I remember
correctly, there were eyewitnesses on hand, right?
I would have to look that up, but they do have a full police report for like what this whole deal, what happened with it. But like James said, I hope these folks both find what is best for them, and if that means them being together and fixing whatever's going on, awesome. If not, best wishes to them as well. But on to something a little bit more positive. There was a match in India yesterday, James, and it was between Jinder.
You say on to something more positive? Why would this be positive?
This is awesome.
What?
This is awesome.
Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. So, there was a match in India. The great return of the modern day Maharaja, whatever that shit is. He was taking on the game, Triple H, and they went 30 minutes. Poor fans, they had to watch those guys wrestle for 30 minutes. But Triple H went ahead and pedigreed him after what was deemed a classic by WWE.com, whatever the fuck that means, because we're going to talk about their match of the year list later, and it's absolutely mind-boggling. So yeah, this is the end, possibly. Like this is one more sign like that, hey, we're off this Jinder shit. We got pretty much one more week to see, like, if it's for real. But yeah, Triple H brings out the shovel. James, what you got?
So can I get my last 7 months of WWE television back?
I'd love for it to be back.
So what the fuck was the point of this?
It was stupid. The whole time it was stupid.
But you know how they are. We're now about to go to a 4th straight Roman Reigns main event. So, clearly they don't give a fuck what we think. So, why can't he beat Triple fucking H of all people?
Because Jinder Mahal is not a star. The night before...
He was never a star. They still gave him the belt.
Correct. Correct. And they were wrong.
What does that mean?
They were wrong. The whole time they were wrong. Roman Reigns actually defeated Triple H the night before. So I don't, in your theory, James, I don't see why Triple H couldn't have done a job here. It's just Triple H is like, why the fuck would I lose to that guy? And that's pretty much what we're all thinking. So, it's unfortunate for the guy because obviously it doesn't make sense, and this whole thing has kind of been a disservice to him, which is, I think, an early point that we all made. You throw someone out there that's just not ready for this, so when he sucks, that's it's not fair to him, but at the same time, we gotta watch this shit, so I don't want to see it. I want my main eventers to be overqualified. I want them to be the very best guys in the business that are fighting over the belts. And when you throw this guy in there that's nowhere near close to being one of the best in the business, it just fucks everything up, and then the show gets repositioned, and you're doing all this stuff to hide them, and it's just terrible. And we're gonna get into more of that in our end of the year show, but this whole thing, with Triple H going over him, I saw so many memes, I mean, why? What is the deal? With Triple H, bro? Why'd they do this?
Dude, I don't know, man. It makes no sense. From what I heard, when Triple H came out, he was a bigger star of the two, which obviously it makes sense because one guy was been treated like a star, even bigger than a star than he ever actually was for almost for the the better part of 2 decades, and then you have and then he beats Jinder Mahal and is okay, so what was the point of any of this? Any of it?
Oh.
Any of it.
If anyone wants to call in to One Nation Live and talk about Jinder Mahal and how stupid this whole thing was for the last 7 months, please feel free. You can call One Nation Radio on Skype. Yeah, man, this is like, this is nuts. So let's go to some of these comments right here. Josh says, Ring General versus Ring General equals classic. No, it does not in this case. Nicholas says, Trips needs to build to whatever he's doing at Mania. Yeah, he's probably like, man, I can't go in there and lose back-to-back twice.
I got a question. Is Josh like trying to be like the PFT commenter?
Sounds like it.
Cause he's like Free Swann was like, what the fuck? And then and now like, Jinder, Ring General. My God. Like, dude, why we give the dude a show to put that when he put this on? We putting this stuff out in public.
My God!
What do we do this for?
We have to ask Jeremy to have a discussion with Josh.
Yeah, that man.
Nicholas says Jinder equals back to jobber. We got one more week to figure that out. So, like, I'm not writing it off because this would be the most WWE thing ever to do all this and then give him the title back next week and just throw us into more uproar.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because it wasn't on TV. It's like, dude, you changed belts on TV off TV this year. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Right. Sergio says, I'm still open to Jinder, but I can't find. I don't think he finished his sentence. And Josh says, I'm funny. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, man. So, like, Jinder Mahal, we got one more week of this. We're going to get to more of it on the end of the year because I think it's time for me to fully, just let it completely out on WWE for, ruining essentially, SmackDown, how they've done. But Monday Night Raw is a little bit better. Before we get into the next topic, like about Daniel Bryan, James, what did you make of the wrestling this week on Raw and SmackDown?
I would have to say, Raw in particular, like, I enjoy the fact that we got, like, lengthy matches. I just wish that, like, there were builds to where we would know that, like, we need to care that the matches had that kind of length to them. Because, like, really, when you think about it, Jason Jordan versus Roman, that's their second match. We've seen that before. Jason Jordan's working with this fake injury thing going on right now, or whatever he's doing right now, whatever the hell that is. I wouldn't expect that match to go that long, and then next thing you know, like, we're going through 2 commercial breaks. The main event, obviously, that made sense. The Raw, what was the other match? There were like 4 matches that were really long on Raw.
Rollins and Cesaro, or was that? No, that was last week. That was last week.
That was last week. Yeah,
it was the Cruiserweight. They had a long match.
Yeah, the Cruiserweight match. At least they were doing spectacular shit, right? Like, at least in their situation, they got more time than people were expecting. But like, they did so much crazy top level stuff that is like it made up for that. So I'm okay with that. But like, so like I can at least there was a reason for it. But like, wasn't there a women's match that had length that may make any sense, or am I just wrong on that?
I think there was a women's match that was a little bit long, and it was Paige versus Sasha.
That's what it was. Okay, like I get that match having length because it's Paige's first match back, but I don't know. Like, I felt like maybe she should have won faster. Especially given that like Sasha's been a geek since SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Since after SummerSlam.
Yeah. How do you think Paige looked? I thought she was like, she was just fine in the ring. Like, it was like, she's been off for a while, but it didn't look like it. She looked like a pro in there.
That was a surprising thing. That's what was surprising to me. Was like, okay, I thought it was going to be like a normal, 7-minute match or so, but like not went longer than that. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, wow, like they hit the ground running with her. Like they treated her almost like she was Daniel Bryan, like going to SmackDown and having casket matches. Like, oh, you coming back? All right, when you come
time
back,
to work
you better be ready to sprint.
Yes, bro. Like if you want that just adds more to the confusion around 2015 when they brought Daniel Bryan back. They made him the anchor of SmackDown. Made him have all these raw ass matches on TV. The literal greatest casket match I've ever seen. And I don't know if that was after the Royal Rumble or not. I think it was, but yeah, it just speaks.
The casket match was before the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, that was to qualify for the Royal Rumble. I believe. Yeah. So, oh man. But yeah, man. So the next thing, speaking of Daniel Bryan, so I wrote a column this week, basically asking, is WWE dumb enough to turn Daniel Bryan heel? James, where do you think this is headed? Because I wrote a couple things, and I don't have a good feeling about this.
Well, when I read it, and I read it, and I doubled back to the headline, which is, are they dumb enough to turn him heel? And I thought, like, well, if that's the question, the headline, then like you can save yourself like all those. How many hundred words were that?
I would probably say like a little over 800-ish.
800 words. You can say instead of 800 words and been like, yes, the end, like face to black. Yes, they're telling us to do this. Like, they're also smug enough to where when the shit don't work, they'll be like, see, we playing a double turn between him and Shane the whole time.
Unbelievable. Bro, like, if they're going to come out here and try to get people to boo Daniel Bryan, that's just like, that's even worse than trying to get people to cheer Roman Reigns. Like, it really is, because you can almost like live with the fact that Roman Reigns is getting booed out of every gymnasium that there is. But Daniel Bryan, the literal most beloved wrestler of this century, he's literally this century, bro. That's the word I've been using. Yes, this century to describe Daniel Bryan. You would think that, well, I'll get to that in a second, Sergio. But this guy, Daniel Bryan, is a fan favorite on the level beyond wrestling. Like, it's not a good guy babyface you're rooting for. You're literally rooting for Daniel Bryan. And this guy like has a connection with the audience that no one like him, no matter how much you thought Sami Zayn was comparable to Daniel Bryan, it's not the same. Like, so, Josh was saying the casket match was great, but not better than Grave Consequences 1. I don't watch Lucha Underground.
Rich, I was going to interrupt you and be like, watch Josh hop in the comments and talk about some Lucha Underground match. I was going to say it, but I forgot to say it. Yep, I'm sure, and sure enough, he did it anyway. Josh, he can help himself.
Josh said, I assume Shane will turn heel. He's a McMahon and it's WWE, although it's the company that tried to turn JR heel twice. I don't think the only reason I say Daniel Bryan's going to turn heel or something like that is because of the fired stipulation. We obviously know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn aren't going anywhere. So I feel like it's a situation where Shane McMahon either has to begrudgingly give them the victory, or if that doesn't happen, Daniel Bryan has to make sure these guys don't get fired somehow. And knowing them, they're going to try to position old babyface Shane, this heroic figure, Shane McMahon, as this fucking face. While meanwhile, this guy has a punchable face, for one, and two, don't nobody want to boo Daniel Bryan and cheer Shane McMahon. Oh my god, it's just disgusting. Sergio says, well, they did turn CM Punk at the peak of his popularity. That wasn't, their hand was forced on that, because The Rock was like, all right, either we're gonna have him fight Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble and give Daniel Bryan a championship as a heel, or you can turn heel CM Punk and you can get the match with The Rock. So he was like, well, fuck it, I'll turn. Like, their hand was forced in that situation.
And at that point, it's like, okay, so it also made more sense in that situation. It's like, all right, like, you're going into it, it's like, all right, they want to do, twice in a lifetime. What can we do to make it bigger? The belt. All right, we got to transition this thing over to The Rock. I mean, CM Punk, there was nothing else for CM Punk to do as a face at that point in time anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, he went through, like, Ziggler, he went through the Elimination Chamber. Daniel Bryan, Jericho, I don't know if he had got to Cena yet, but he had started the turn in motion by the time the SummerSlam match came.
But Cena was a baby face at the time. Randy Orton was a baby face at the time. Like, there was really, I mean, unless he was going to fight the Big Show, no one shit else to do. Do you want to fight the Big Show?
Yeah, man. So Sergio says, it seems like Daniel would team with the heels, but Shane feels more like a heel now. Yes, Shane McMahon does feel like a heel. Why? Because he is the heel. Like, he's the guy that is literally overlooking everyone, and he's drunk with power right now, and he's really trying to stick it to these two guys. And what he's doing,
everything that Sami Zayn has said in promos is 100% true.
Yep. And everything he's doing is going to alienate the one guy that's supposed to be on his side, Daniel Bryan. And just, I don't know, man. Who do you think Shane fights this year at WrestleMania? Because you just know it has to happen.
I mean, I would say that you have to say, like, the people that would be put would be, like, Angle, Triple H, Sami Zayn. Even though the thought of Sami Zayn in a singles WWE WrestleMania match is, like, hilarious. But yeah, like, those are the ones that's what comes to my mind. Like, I mean, you could say, you know, the pipe dream of Daniel Bryan, but, like, we don't know if they even gonna clear this dude. So it's hard for me to even just put that out there. Like, there's no, like, who else is on the SmackDown side that can wrestle? You know, as they say with Survivor Series, you know, this is the only time. That's the only time of the year when Raw and SmackDown collides, except for, you know, when they bring in AJ Styles to fight Finn Balor the month before on pay-per-view.
Right. Now it depends where they're going with the Royal Rumble, but you know, they said Shane likes to link himself with, you know, whatever popular act is going on at the time, or, you know, some convoluted way to turn and have him fight Nakamura or some shit. Like,
that's all kinds of gross.
That sounds dreadful.
Maybe he fights the modern day Maharaja at WrestleMania.
Holy shit. Shane McMahon versus Jinder Mahal. Shoot me now. Shoot me now. I don't know if that would be the most hated match that I've ever, like, had. Like, because y'all really gonna try to make me cheer for Shane McMahon? Really?
They've been doing it for how long now?
Bro, like, they had him trying to fight The Undertaker. They had him fighting AJ Styles as a babyface. Like, bro, like, I'm so tired of Shane McMahon. He needs to go, bro. like he needs to go.
Yeah, I'm in the same place you are.
Like, leave him alive.
Like once they did the whole AJ thing, and were like, oh, so AJ's out of the title picture. He's going to fight a civilian at WrestleMania. Like, all right, I'm off this Shane shit. Like, ever since then.
Yeah, Shane the Civilian McMahon, as I've named him in column form and other, you know, areas and all that jazz. But yeah, man, Mia Khalifa, you know, film star and, you know, star of the show.
A what?
She's an actress.
What kind of actress?
She is. She performs in movies.
What kind of movies?
You know, ones that are on the internet.
It either starts with an A or a P.
Okay, Mia Khalifa, former porn actress. I don't know if she's still, you know, in the business or whatever.
I think she's out. But no, I mean, I thought you were gonna say eventually come around and say she's an adult performer or adult actress or whatever. But you can come with it, so you're like, porn.
Yeah, porn. Yeah. She'd be doing flicks, bro. Like, she has a show with Gilbert Arenas, former NBA player, and they it's like a sports kind of theme show, and she's trying to carve out her niche. Is, you know, that's kind of like her post flick life, per to say. Josh, thank you, Josh. Josh says she's retired, so you know, if you're a fan of her work, so yeah, awesome. So, I
only never be a fan, necessarily have to be a fan of her work to know, like, about the fact that she's retired. I mean, it was actually like she was one of like maybe a handful or so of like pornographic. Of porn stars, like, that kind of like get some type of mainstream notoriety over the last like 5 years, to say for sure. So like, you kind of like, you can be on Twitter and see her trending on Twitter and find out some shit about her. You don't even know who she was.
So the reason we're talking about her is she caused a stir with her comments on professional wrestling this week. They were talking about Ronda Rousey coming to WWE, and I actually have the audio here, so we can actually run that.
She was probably putting a play on Fight Night.
You think
maybe, yeah.
Okay. But another person that made their money in the ring is Ronda Rousey, and she's close to finalizing a deal to join the WWE. Do you think this is the right move for her career, Mia?
this is where her career will go to die. Absolutely not. I have no respect for the WWE. I don't think it's a real sport. So, I think that's where her career will go to die.
Well, she crashed WrestleMania in 2015. We've seen plenty of stars take their star status and make it even higher by joining wrestling. Gil, me is against it. Do you?
It's not a sport.
I know, but it's for
it's
fans.
choreography.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's the best thing for her career after she got her ass knocked out.
That's embarrassing. You go from real fights to wearing a sequin unitard and pretending to fight?
Yeah.
Well, it's better than getting hit in the face.
You don't want to get...
All right. So, we heard the comments from Mia Khalifa, and she pretty much, came around Rouse's head, essentially. James, your thoughts?
Yeah, so, I'm assuming people were upset because she called wrestling fake and called it a fake sport.
Yeah, well, she said she has no respect for it and it's not a real sport. And at the same time, the way she said it, it was like, well, duh, it's not real. Like, I mean, you wouldn't respect it for being sport. Like, what are you saying? Those two don't go together.
Yeah, so me is like, okay, so she said that, she can't respect it because it's not a real sport. It's like, one, no one's trying to, at this point in 2017, no one's trying to, pull the wool over your eyes that it is a legitimate sport anyway.
Right.
And two, as far as in her career, her career effectively ended when she got her face knocked off of her skull.
Right.
So it's that was already done with. So whatever. Her results she ain't really saying nothing that's not true, and it's nothing that she ain't saying anything that's kind of some type of, in my opinion, some big deals. Wrestling's not real, and Ronda Rousey's career pretty much is over. So may as well use it to capitalize on some of the star power she has to do this kind of thing and make some money.
And I'm not about to hate on nobody that is going to go ahead and take money out of Vince McMahon's pocket, because Vince McMahon, he has way too much money, so somebody needs to go get it. So the whole thing about the you go from real fights to wearing a sequin unitard pretending to fight, that was a little bit low, but maybe she watched Glow and thought that's what Rousey's doing. What it is, yeah. So, as you can imagine, that pretty much riled up a lot of folks in the wrestling community who could not separate Mia Khalifa's previous line of work from, the comments that she made here. And I'm sure she caught her fair share of hell on Twitter. But I would probably say the one that's got the most attention was Hurricane Helms, former Shane Helms and all that, the Hurricane. And
was there anybody of prominence that made any type of talk at her, traded any kind of words with her that didn't result in some form of slut shaming? Was there anybody?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. So he said, "I'm not going to get upset that a porn star doesn't respect pro wrestling. She's entitled to her opinion. Our bodies take a pounding, and well, so does hers." And then
so slut shaming. There you go.
So that was pretty much the big one or whatever. So everyone's saying that the Hurricane's superpower was the clapback, apparently, after all these years. So I mean, there are other ways to make your point, and speaking as a person that has gotten into Twitter wars with semi-famous people or famous people, I went at Amin El-Hassan's head pretty hard and got some momentum until the point where he was forced to apologize. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with me, but I like to think I contributed to it.
Count the victory. Count it as victory.
Yeah, I'll take that as the W. So, and I kept it pretty much as thoughtful, on his point, and I didn't really come for him as much. I came for him a little bit, since he wanted to shoot. Well, we can shoot, brother. So, yeah, man. But it is disappointing to see folks especially we obviously we know what she did. There's got to be a better way to kind of respond to that, and it's unfortunate that folks haven't got to the level of maturity to figure that out yet. So
another part about it is you lame, flat out, oh, so you're calling her a whore because she had sex on camera. Okay, cool. For me, I just find it lame because okay, so you can say all this kind of stuff about her. This and the third one is dude, we all know that porn is a multi-billion-dollar yearly industry. We like a lot of y'all that's talking shit about her. Also, a lot of y'all that's been out here touching yourselves to her. So it's like y'all lame. Y'all just lame.
Yes. So what up, Ben? I see you just tuned in. Opportune time. So Dylan says once Mia found out that Rousey was most likely going to get paid more in WWE, she immediately retracted everything she said. Well, yeah. Well, that also I don't think if you're a civilian, you want them problems with Rousey to be out there talking that noise. Essentially,
you know what that's kind of like? It's like it's like Tyson after the Lennox Lewis fight. People talking about, Tyson, all right, say that shit to Mike Tyson face. See if he'll knock your face off your skull. If he'll rip your head off like a jar of jelly.
Yes,
like the top of a
Yeah, so let's get into some of these questions that got submitted from everyone. And once again, I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's been listening to the show around the country and around the world, as far as Egypt and Japan and many parts of Africa, the UK, and all around the United States. For some reason, we're popping in New Jersey a bunch for some reason. So what up to all the Jersey listeners?
Yeah, shout out to Jersey. But real quick, you said we popping in Africa?
Yeah.
We big in the motherland.
Yes, I want to say we've got some listens in Africa.
All right, well, shout out to the brothers and the sisters of diaspora.
Yes. We have a listener in Kenya, I believe.
Okay.
So, and that was I want to say that was just this month. So, that's pretty dope. So I like that. So if we're looking at the last let's see where else the last 3 months that we got some love from. So
we got to get to it, bro.
We got to send some shout outs, man. All right, Australia, what up? Alaska, what up? Who else? Egypt, what up? Canada, what up? Everybody, what up? So so let's get to some of these questions. Nicholas Guerrero says, if not against Shinsuke, what do you see Styles doing at WrestleMania?
Boy, whew. What do we know? What exactly are the plans for NXT being on Wednesday and then Raw going back to 2 hours? Do we know the logistics of that yet?
I think we got a question. I think we got a question about that, and I think I know what the answer is to that. So I'm going to try my best to answer that when we get there.
Do you need time, or you want to do that now?
I mean, I can do it now. So, I think the deal with it is just, they do this, if you notice, in past years, on, the big holiday week, or the week before the holiday, WWE will get, all their shows in prime time throughout the whole week before Christmas. So, Monday night it'll be Raw, Tuesday will be SmackDown, Wednesday will be NXT, Thursday will be Tribute to the Troops, and then Friday they'll do something or whatever. And they've done this for a couple years now. So I don't think this is necessarily a thing on NXT where this is the first step towards them putting it on USA. I don't think that's the case at all. This is just a one-time thing, and this is not for NXT about to be permanently there on Wednesdays. This isn't that.
Okay, well, basically, I was going to ask, because I've heard some talk about them, they how they, for a while, a few weeks ago, they were taking out that third hour.
Right.
So, they were taking out the third hour of Raw, and then, the idea was, all right, well, we got to get rid of this third hour of Raw because it sucks. So, but then, USA still says to them, well, we still want our programming because your programmings are still our top rated shows. All right, well, here's NXT for Wednesday at 8 or 9 or whatever, and we move Raw back to 2 hours, and then I figured, if that were something that was actually going to happen, then that would mean that maybe because they have to rebalance the rosters, you end up getting somebody that comes over from Raw to SmackDown as a potential opponent for WrestleMania for AJ. I went all the way around that whole thing to get to that point because I really don't know. He's fought pretty much everybody, except for Orton, of course.
He's whooped the whole roster's ass like Bret Hart in 1997, which will be a running joke on this podcast forever. What's up?
Like Brock Lesnar right now?
Yes, like Brock Lesnar has whooped the entire roster's ass. He has whooped your WWE champion. He's whooped your handpicked successor. He's whooped your longest running draw. He's whooped your giant. He's whooped your new monster. He's whooped everybody. And yeah, he's kicked the whole roster's ass. If I really don't know what I could see Styles doing at this point if it's not Nakamura. Knowing this damn company, they'd be like, yeah, we building up Mojo Rawley for AJ Styles. Jesus. And I know some jackass would come out there and say they'd be into that, but they would be wrong. So next question also comes from Nick. He says, who are your top 3 favorites to win the Royal Rumble? And if you had your choice, who would you have win the Royal Rumble?
You want me to go first, or do you want to go?
You can go first.
All right. You remember the Chappelle Show skit when they did the real world? I'm sorry, the band, and they had Chappelle dressed as Dylon. He said, "Who the 5 hottest rappers of all time?"
Yes.
He goes, Dylon, and Dylon, because I spit hot fire.
Right.
Well, my top 3 choices are Roman, and Roman, because Roman is their guy. Like, dude, like, it's either go, like, I mean, honestly, like, how much money would have to be at stake for you to put down any money that anybody besides John Cena or Roman Reigns will win the Royal Rumble this year?
I mean, it depends on the odds. I'm not like really an odds guy or whatever.
Okay, well you have to be plus 500.
Yes.
Okay, plus 400.
I'm not
Meaning
sure.
you put up 100 and they
give you 400. I'd take that bet.
Plus 350.
Nah.
Okay then. That's where we at.
The only reason I think, and I'm going to lean towards SmackDown winner is based on historical precedent, and also they have the Fastlane show. I believe it is a Raw show, or excuse me, Elimination Chamber is a Raw show. And I think they're going to use the Elimination Chamber to decide the number 1 contender. I don't see the point of putting Brock in there with 6 guys just to beat them all again, even though they have no problem letting Brock beat dudes. I think Nakamura is the pick for the Royal Rumble. Unless they want to run back Randy Orton again, which is like absolutely ridiculous. And if they want to do John Cena, it's like, are we going towards John Cena and AJ Styles? I mean, I don't really see the point of them doing that again, like at WrestleMania.
Nah.
I mean, they should have done that last year.
Nah, just wait for the pay-per-view. Just wait for the next outcome pay-per-view when they switch the title back to Jinder, and then you get John Cena versus Jinder at WrestleMania.
Holy shit, that would... Oh,
that's still at stake here.
Yeah, it is. It is still at stake. So, the main event, the people want AJ versus Nakamura, or the main event, like, 3 people want John Cena versus Jinder Mahal. And those
Who are those 3 people?
Those 3 people are Jinder Mahal, Vince McMahon, and David Finchel. So... Oh man, what up, Dave? So next question. Simon says, can an argument be made that John Cena was the best WWE champion of 2017? He had 2 great matches, and it was way better than anything Wyatt, Orton, or Mahal did.
No, because you had that month of AJ Styles.
Yes, AJ Styles was the champion in January for most of the month, and then he's been the champion since October, right? Like in October or in November.
I wasn't even going to talk about the second reign. I was talking about the first reign just that month.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Just that month. I mean, because like think about it. Like Cena only had the belt for 2 fucking weeks, so like why is his 2 weeks more? You can count for something, and then like AJ's month doesn't, or 3 weeks or whatever doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm with you. You're not about to get me saying Bray Wyatt is hot in these streets, or Randy Orton in 2017, and definitely not like Jinder Mahal. And that's like my best like Stephen A. Smith impression with Jinder Mahal, like Slava Medvedenko. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Simon says, what are your thoughts on the WWE Match of the Year list? So I'm going to pull this up, right? The WWE Match of the Year list, they came out with a collection on the network. And basically what they've done is grabbed a collection of, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking matches. Like some of them, yeah, they should be there. And then other ones, it's like, this makes no sense to not a...
What are the ones you find questionable?
Oh, we're going to go through them all. So, like, okay, so it starts awesome. So, first match on there, John Cena versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, Royal Rumble 2015. Awesome.
Don't you think it's funny that, like, there's no way we would have known this, but, like, we got that match between them two at Royal Rumble, and we thought, yeah, that's probably going to end up being match of the year. Like, we thought that's probably going to be match of the year. And then, like, not only was it like match of the year this year, it's like there wasn't even anything even in this realm, not even close.
Crazy. After that, there was a Fatal 5-Way in February with the Cruiserweights on 205 Live, which I remember being pretty good. They put Randy Orton versus Luke Harper at Elimination Chamber. While a good match, definitely not match of the year quality.
Yeah, that's a borderline great match. I would not say that's a match of the year candidate, but that was a great match. Like, that was match is about as good as AJ Styles versus Orton at SummerSlam. That match was like Elimination Chamber was a really good underrated pay-per-view.
That was the best SmackDown pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah,
unquestionably. Yeah. So we've got Bayley winning the championship from Charlotte with Sasha Banks interfering.
That's like a 4 4.25 match, from what I remember.
So we've got, and we're actually still decent right now.
Yeah, I think that's the best women's match on the main roster this year. I'm pretty sure it is.
Good God. So the three-way match with the Authors of Pain, AOP, and the Revival, we were in attendance at NXT TakeOver WrestleMania weekend is on there.
Yeah.
I actually have to have a convo with Chad because he seems to have like a one-man crusade against this match for some reason. Like, I guess there's something he doesn't like about it, and I think we differ quite greatly on that because, I mean, we were there in person. I don't know how much of that played against it. I would say the only thing that kind of took everyone out of it was when they eliminated DIY first, but to me, that's a solid 4.5-star match, like, at minimum.
Okay, so for me, generally speaking, when I'm in attendance to a show, like, unless I'm sitting, like, on the floor or, like, within 10 feet of the match because of my vision, like, a match will always be better for me on TV than live, unless I'm like really close to the ring, right? So like, I thought that match was great at the time, and I was second level or whatever. So yeah, I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, we got to talk about that, Chad.
Not really. I thought it was a great match.
So they got Brock Lesnar and Goldberg on there. They have.
I mean, I wouldn't put that match on there, but I can understand. But it's one of the best 5-minute matches you'll ever see.
Right. Then they've got Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Seth Rollins in that triple threat match they had for the number one contender for the IC title. I remember that. That was pretty cool. Then they have Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and obviously that's probably the only match that is close to the Cena AJ match.
Yeah, like when I think of match of the year, like I just don't count stuff that's not on the main roster. I just don't. Right. But yeah, like as far as stuff that's not on there, yeah, like. As far as, like, the entirety of the WWE universe or whatever, yeah, that's the second best match of the year, or maybe even the best match.
So, the next one, we have the ladder match between the Authors of Pain and DIY in NXT TakeOver Chicago.
Yep.
And here we start going off a cliff. So, the next match they put Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton when Jinder Mahal won the WWE Championship. A match that wasn't even 3 stars.
That wasn't even his best match. His second match was the better match. The one in St. Louis, when one in St. Louis involving his dad, that was a better match.
And the one that they did on TV was better than all of them. And yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That match shouldn't be on there. Like next thing you'll tell me, you'll see a bunch of Alexa Bliss matches on here too.
You just wait.
Like the match, like the only match you'll get any type of consideration for any type of match of the year candidate in Alexa Bliss's thing will be her match with Sasha Banks at Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Which match was better between?
No, it wouldn't.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, like, bro, I'm looking at this list. I think that's like only one real thing. Oh, excuse me. There's also one other thing that's absolutely ridiculous on here. We'll get to it. So the next match is the Fatal 5-Way from Extreme Rules. Cool match. Okay. Like, I wasn't crazy about it. Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns in June. I think that was the first time they fought each other, and that was lit at the time. I wouldn't put that on there. I wouldn't put it on there. Like, it's not a match of the year contender. The women's gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the Raw Women's title that Sasha won, that Nia Jax was in there the whole time.
That match was good. That match was really damn good. That's one of the better TV matches of the year.
The SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank.
Which one? On pay-per-view. One on SmackDown?
The one on SmackDown.
So the second one, right?
The second one.
I mean, I don't know. Like the first one was better, except for the finish was worse.
Yeah. Nikki Cross and Asuka in a last woman standing match. John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And
that deserves to be on there.
The thing is, like, shouldn't that have been a pay-per-view match? like, come on, man.
Should have been a WrestleMania match.
Yes. AJ Styles and Chad Gable.
Yep, that match is good.
Bro, but the thing is, like, those aren't match of the year matches, bro. Like, these are like 8-minute matches on random shows. Like, no, that's not how this works.
But it is how it works when this year's been that bad in the ring.
Right, and I feel like that gives credence to everything that we said on this show throughout the year, like where they failed on pay-per-view consistently.
Like, most of these matches you're naming are matches that wouldn't even gotten mentioned for match of the year like last year.
Yes.
Let alone like put on a list for best matches
and
by
bro,
WWE.
And when putting this up against them boys on the other side of the world, oh my god. So
I'm not even going to get into comparing them against like New Japan or whatever else. I'm going to compare them against their prior work just a year before.
Right. So it picks up a little bit with Johnny Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas in the opener at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
Now that match is definitely on that list.
Yes.
Definitely does.
I gave that one 4.5. So they put the SummerSlam match between the Usos and the New Day, the SummerSlam pre-show match between the Usos and the New Day. And they came out there and said, don't y'all ever disrespect us. And I think I gave that one 4.5 as well.
Yeah, that match was great. Like, that was the best match on SummerSlam.
Yep. Then they put the main event of SummerSlam on there, which for some reason folks dig, but I wasn't.
I like that match, but like,
I don't know, bro.
One of the best. It was one of the best matches of the year, but like, would I nominate that for match of the year this year?
I don't think it was
on
great.
The main roster. No, I would not.
I don't think it was great. I thought it was just good. Big Show versus Braun Strowman. The final chapter when Big Show came out there looking like King Kong Bundy and he slammed him through the cage. Kairi Sane versus Toni Storm, the semifinals of the Mae Young Classic they put on there.
Yeah.
No Mercy, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose against The Bar.
Want to be real? Given the matches that you're naming that have been put on here that I would not put on here because I think they're questionable, and the fact that they put the Toni Storm, Kairi Sane match in there, if that's the case, like, they need to put the Kairi Sane, Bianca Belair match on there. Yeah. They need to put the Toni Storm and Piper Niven match on there. They need to put on the who else did Kairi Sane wrestle? Like, every single one of her matches could be
all
on
her matches. Yeah, she wrestled Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, the Tessa Blanchard match could be on there. The final could be on there, where she fought Baszler.
Yep.
I mean, you could put Baszler versus LaCroix on there too if you wanted to, give them the competition that you know.
Yeah, it's just a lot of matches like where, like, I don't know. You got Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens, and then you have Enzo Amore versus Kalisto.
Wow, that's bullshit. Seriously. So those last two matches you named, right? So the main event, not main event. I'm sorry. The Hell in a Cell match, right?
Yeah.
So, are we gonna still pretend that match was good?
I dare someone to tell me that match is good on a rewatch. I dare someone to.
Like, and I told you this. I should rewatch it again, but I told you, like, my first suspicion is you got to rewatch that. it's not gonna be good because one, it's 30 something minutes long, which means it's like 20 minutes way too long, and two, once they get on top of the cage and you've seen the match before and you know that nobody's gonna fall through the cage and fall to their death or whatever, they're just wrestling and not well because it's Shane McMahon.
Yeah, I think the thing with that match, and there were long stretches of it where we were just bored, and I was watching this with Josh and Jeremy, and we were just like, I can't believe this. Like, this is just like what are they doing? And
that match was bad until they got on top of that cage. Everybody was fearful that someone was going to fall through and die. That's correct. The only thing. That's the only element of it that made it interesting after that. And then, but once you rewatch and it's gone, there's nothing left to that match. And granted, not every match is meant to be something that's supposed to be great on rewatch, right? Like, sometimes it's meant for this to be able to get you through, right? Like, whether it's Shane McMahon or Triple H at WrestleMania 31, or it's Brock Lesnar beating the hell out of John Cena at the 2015 SummerSlam. But, nah, man, like, the whole thing about this is, like, you know, match of the year, and it's on the network, and it's on place for you to rewatch. Like, you rewatch it, you're going to be like, wow, okay. Especially, like, when... You know, the first Hell in a Cell match on that card is incredible.
Right. Which I think, if you want to make an argument, and that's not on this list. And
that's stupid.
To me, that was the best match I saw this year. Like, people can say what they want. That like you know, yeah, no Neville matches on here at all. By the way,
that's stupid.
And that's actually something Josh said. No Neville matches at all. No New Day versus Usos Hell in a Cell. Yep. Neville and Gallagher at Fastlane. Yep. Joe versus Lesnar, AJ versus Balor not there, AJ versus Lesnar not there, AJ versus Shane not there. I guess they didn't want to turn this into the AJ Styles Awards, apparently. Just like they didn't want to do the Slammies last year when AJ Styles would have won every award instead of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, no AJ Styles versus
Velveteen versus
Randy
Black.
Orton either. No AJ Styles versus Luke Harper either. Yeah, man, like this is really
they gotta do better.
Weird, man.
They gotta do better. Like, I think I could pick a better WWE list than, like, and I think they didn't butcher it too bad, but they had way too many, like, TV matches on there that ultimately, like, meant nothing, that weren't, like, they weren't even, if they weren't going to mean anything, it wasn't like they went out there and went 20 minutes. Like, Roman Reigns and Jason Jordan went out there for 20 minutes and was better than, like, just random 8-minute matches they threw on here. And
so, wait a minute. So, like, that's another thing about it, right? So, Jason Jordan on TV had a great match with a hell of a match with Finn Balor, a hell of a match with Roman Reigns twice, and a hell of a match with John Cena. Are any of those matches on there?
No.
That's weird.
Yep. It's just weird. Whoever's controlling their network, like, I wonder how what the politics were behind putting this together. Like, you need to have such and such featured or whatever. Like, I wonder if that played a role into it. But personally, you know, I thought the Usos and New Day definitely should have been on there.
Yeah, considering they're the feud of the year in the company.
Right.
Wait, another one. How many Strowman and Roman matches are on there?
Okay, so we've got one Braun Strowman, two Braun Strowman. We've got none of those Roman and Strowman matches, like the one-on-ones they had. Not a single one.
That's stupid.
Yet they put Jinder Mahal beating Randy Orton on here.
Oh my God.
I'll never
They
understand.
can't even promote their own freaking Golden Boy with his matches on TV. What are they doing?
No idea. No Roman versus Braun, Dylan. Yeah, but they had room for Enzo fucking Amore. I will never understand. There had to be some type of politics going into this. Had to be.
Roman and Strowman is the best singles feud of the year.
Get no argument from me on that.
Anything even close?
I mean, I would have to think about it, but yeah, keeping you compelled every time they fought. That for as far as singles, that's it.
Like, did they even put like the
no Roman Reigns and Owens, nothing.
Did they even put the Cena versus Roman No Mercy match on there?
No.
Wow. They goofed. Don't get me wrong. Like, Cena completely goofed off the first third or half of that match. But once they started getting into it, that match got to great.
Took too long.
By the end of it, at least. So I don't know, man. Like, that's a weird thing. That's a weird.
Yeah. So thanks for that question, Simon. Simon also asks, what do you expect to happen for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship should Hiroshi Tanahashi be able to unable to compete? Now, Tanahashi had to pull out, yes, Jeremy, feud of the year is WWE versus the fans. Correct. So Tanahashi had to pull out of the World Tag League, but I don't think this means a damn thing. Hiroshi Tanahashi will be defending the IC title at Wrestle Kingdom. I have no doubt in my mind that the Ace will be showing up. At all. Like, I won't even read the report. Like,
how bad is his knee, though? Do we know?
Like, they pulled him out of the World Tag League, which is essentially him saying, yeah, I'm not about to wrestle a bunch of these pointless matches that I'm not even in. I'm not about to do these 6-mans or whatever.
Do we even know how his health is, considering, like, he's been wrestling with a torn biceps or torn triceps?
Bicep.
A torn biceps for months. Like,
like a year.
Have before the G1?
For like a year.
Yeah.
Like, he's crazy. Like, so, like, I have no, I have no worries about the Ace being ready. Jeremy says, who do you think Roman should drop the IC belt to?
No one. Basically what should happen is he takes it all the way to WrestleMania. He's the double champion, like he's the Ultimate Warrior, and then he turns it over, and they have an Intercontinental run to a match at basically have a run of tournament matches for the vacant IC title, and then hopefully Finn Balor should win the thing at the end of by the next pay-per-view. That's how I would do it. Because they always, depending on who gets the closest show, they always have weeks of dead television. In the lead up to the pay per view after. So we'll see.
Have him vacate that shit. Wow.
Yeah, be like, look, I got 2 belts. I can't be double champion.
Yeah. If they were someone he would lose to, I would probably just go with Joe. Like, they could do a thing where he ends up putting Roman to sleep or some shit, so they don't have to make him submit or pin him. So. I'm not. Yeah, Simon, what's your best case realistic WrestleMania card? That's a whole nother show, Simon. Me
and Rich can literally do that for an entire show.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm trying to not roll into the Royal Rumble WrestleMania talk as much right now until January, but just trying to wrap up 2017 and take it for what it is, and then we'll go full force.
So instead of talking about potential, potential hope, right, and potential change into something good, you want to continue to try and wrap aluminum foil around this turd. That's what you're saying of a year that we've had.
Pretty much.
What you're trying to do?
No. What I'm trying to do is essentially just bury this year so we don't have to remember it anymore. I'm trying to get it all out now and throw it in the grave so we can start fresh in 2018 with that hope, like Andy Dufresne speaks of. And hope is dangerous. It can kill a man.
Yeah. But okay, so I gotta do we start next week or the week after that when we basically do the nominees wrap it's the honorable mention podcast?
We can do next week as an elimination show if you like, and then we can come back with we can probably record a can show for Christmas week, and then right after New Year's we can go ahead and drop the award show. We're pretty much just waiting for the Clash of Champions to happen.
After New Year's?
Well, we put them out on December 1st. We put them out on the 31st. It's a good, New Year's thing.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get it out in time for Christmas, so, you guys can break away from your families.
No. I was mistaken. When you said that for New Year's, I thought you meant, put it out in January. I was like, all right, but I get what you mean now.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, after the last, week of shows for WWE is over with. I get what you mean now.
Right. So Joe says, were the choices of female wrestlers brought from NXT good picks? Now, I think it depends on what you want them to do. If you were asking, did they call up the best talent? No, they did not call up the best talent. But these women are playing roles that I don't know if you necessarily want Ember Moon in. I don't think you necessarily want Kairi Sane, as a part of a 3-1 group. Like, I don't think you want like the iconic duo to be like, if you're fans of them, right? Like, you don't want them to have to pretty much reconfigure their whole act to be a part of a 3-woman unit. So,
yeah, I agree with that. And plus, also, like, another thing is, I know they're not going to do it because they love their 50-50 booking, because, like, they love to be able to, like, decide to, like, not actually build somebody and just be able to, like, just pick a name out of a hat and then be like, yeah, it's your turn to do X, Y, and Z. But let's say they were actually trying to make wins and losses matter. Crazy thing, right? Yeah. It would help to have, like, people that you can beat and, like, have them be affiliated with, like, Paige or with Ruby Riott, who are actually the real stars, and you can beat the minions, you know what I'm saying, or beat the goons, basically. Like, that would help people and help build some TV and for storylines for pay-per-view, which is, like, you know, you haven't really done on SmackDown with the women. They just throw them all 5 at a time in the pay-per-view match on SmackDown.
Next question also comes from Joe, Australia Joe, Aussie Joe. Aussie, how's it go? Aussie.
Oi, oi. It's not that difficult. It's not like trying to figure out a Twister verse. It's not. It's just real simple.
Yes. So he says, if Brock doesn't re-sign, what does Paul Heyman do? If Heyman sticks around, who would you guys like to see him pair up with?
Joe.
Put him with Samoa Joe. I would put him. I'd put him with Roman and turn Roman heel, and then go all in. Like, I'll have Heyman saying ridiculous shit, but the condition is that Roman Reigns has to be a heel to do it.
Okay, so for me, I said Joe because it will make sense at some point in time to be the shock of it all, of him all of a sudden, like, aligning with Samoa Joe, because he badmouthed him and said he wasn't a real Samoan and all that other stuff, like, in the lead up to the Brock match. But on the other end, if you do the Roman thing, it also makes some sense because, you know, he flat out, he did everything but for late Roman Reigns in the lead up to WrestleMania 31. He said he's better than Andre the Giant, The Undertaker, Austin, Rock, Hogan, Bruno Sammartino
combined.
So, like, yeah. We already know how much he loves him some Samoan Thor guy. So we already know.
Yeah. And Kyle asks thoughts on the decision to try to air NXT on USA. I think we addressed that a little bit earlier. Simon says we got. Go ahead.
Oh, if they put it on USA Network, I'll start watching.
Simon says we got 1 week until the end of Jinder Mahal is official. How will you celebrate the rise and fall of the modern day mediocrity?
I'm not gonna celebrate it because, one, I'm not, you know, you can't trust these people. So, like, he might be champion. He might be champion in the coming days. But aside from that, like, I don't really find joy or celebration out of, like, him, you know, like the idea is, after this, like, he goes back to the mid card, back to being a jobber you go, which is, like, for me, like, I don't want it to happen because, like, either that means the last 7 months have been a complete waste of my time, and 2, it also means that, like, this is the end, like, which means, like, all the stuff that they did and they fucked him over as far as, like, not actually building him correctly, and then it blew up in his face, like, it becomes a thing where he's the failure and it's not WWE's failure to get him over. And people will remember it as him being a failure and he sucked in this, that, and the third, as opposed to, nah, WWE's, like, maybe this dude wasn't the greatest wrestler in the world, but, like, they did very, very little to get this dude ready, and they threw him out there to into the water to swim, knowing damn well he probably couldn't swim, and now it's his fault that he drowned. Like, I found that to be upsetting to me. Like, I don't like that. Like, hopefully, you know, he loses or whatever else, and then, like, he has a career for the next 5 years as a solid mid-carder. Otherwise, like, you wasted so many people's time with this, and you literally did this to spite your fan base.
Yeah.
Like, you accomplished nothing.
Zilch. No, it's a weird topic for me because, like, I've been so hard on whatever they've tried to do with Jinder, and I feel like I've been justified in 95% of everything I've been saying this whole time about it. But when it comes to feeling bad for the guy, right? Be like, yo, they threw this dude out there, and these are things that we've said, like, yo, they threw this guy out here before he was ready. While people say, no, he's ready, like, no, he's not. Like, and if anyone wants to say otherwise, I feel like they're fully trolling us. And like James said, you would think that this guy would be a mid-carder for life now, or at least be someone you can throw the U.S. title on for months at a time.
I'm not saying he's the Miz, but after he lost that belt after WrestleMania 27, he made a complete career as a bottom of the mid card guy until he got this recent chance since the brand split. He got a solid run as a mid card guy that kept getting opportunities every season. Kept getting put in programs. He kept getting stuff to do. I don't know if they're going to do that with him with Jinder if this is the end.
And also, all that presentation goes away that they gave him as the champion. All that presentation is going to go, is going to be different. So
that man gonna show up that man gonna be after WrestleMania season this next year. It's gonna be May. And that dude gonna be walking out here dressed like The Rock in a sleeveless T-shirt and some sweats instead of wearing a suit. And they'll be like, yo, the budget's gone.
Yeah.
You ain't rich no more.
Yes.
Fuck that part of your storyline.
Yes.
You done.
Yes.
We ain't spending no more money on you.
Yes. The checkbook is closed. When AJ Styles goes ahead and gets that win, hopefully, I will crank. I gotta let these folks have it that tried to ruin my summer. But
what do you mean tried?
Yeah, tried.
They did that.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah, bro. That was awful, bro. I've never been so furious as a wrestling fan. This is awful.
Remember after the Iraqi freedom thing, how they had Bush on the aircraft carrier, and they had that big old banner over the top that said "Mission Accomplished."
Yeah.
Yeah, so they tried to ruin your summer, bitch. They did. Mission accomplished.
Wow. Since we throwing at the George W. Bush, I guess I'll have to take my shoe off and throw it at their ass then. So last question comes from Jeremy. He says, help settle a debate between Josh and I. Is Okada and Chaos the faction heels? Jeremy thinks they're faces. Josh thinks they're heels. The members include Okada, Ishii, Toru Yano, Beretta, Chucky T, Goto, Yoshihashi, Roppongi 3K, Jado, and Gato.
So who's saying they're heels?
Josh thinks they're heels.
Well, in most situations, I have to go between Josh and Jeremy. I'm gonna say Jeremy's right, but in this case, Jeremy actually is right. Who's the heel? Ishii's not a heel. Everything Ishii does is wrestle where he gets beat up and he fires up throughout his match all the time.
What about Yano?
Yano's comedy relief. He could be a heel, but he's hilarious.
Correct, and he fights against Minoru Suzuki. So Minoru Suzuki is a heel. I know that.
Right. As you say, he's the most evil motherfucker ever.
Correct.
Right? So, Okada is a lot less heelish than he's been in the past.
Right.
He's been a fighting champion. Who else is in that list? Roppongi
3K, Show and Yo. Yep.
Yeah, they're. Last I checked,
they're flashy baby faces. Yeah, they're about to fight the Young Bucks.
What are you talking about?
Beretta, I think he's a face. Goto at this rate, I don't know what Goto is. Yoshihashi is just like a guy. I don't think he's a heel. He said, no, guys, at best they're tweeners. They're not faces. I don't know, man. I would think, I think they've, like James said, I think they de-emphasize, Okada's, heel-ness or whatever, and he's more like a Japanese national. He's like...
So let me get this right. So in his mind, is he thinking, the Bullet Club or the Gaijin heels, LIJ are the faces, and then, in between is Chaos, they just there, right?
And I think LIJ are supposed to be heels.
They're basically
they're cool heels.
they're basically like when the women's revolution happened, like Chaos is pretty much like the Bellas were like their heels when they got to wrestle the submission sorority or whatever they were trying to call them, and then their faces when they got to face the women of color.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's actually probably gonna wrap up the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to One Nation Radio, One Nation Live today. Like I said, everybody that has been listening around the country and around the world, we appreciate every single listen and download and share and like and comment. So please bring those out for us. Google Play, on Stitcher, on YouTube, on Podbean, wherever you get your podcast from. I'm sure there's a rating system, and unlike folks that don't think star ratings are important, we are not those people. We like 5 stars. I know, like Josh and Jeremy were saying, they're not allowed to give 6.25 stars, but what you can do is just go on there and vote for 5 twice. Just do it, you know. So make sure you guys check out the rest of the network this coming week. We've got Keeping It Strong Style with their second episode. I don't know what those guys got up their sleeve for the second one. It was very fun. Make sure you guys check out that intro as well. Then we've got the SMC podcast just released their show, I want to say last night, maybe 2 nights ago, and then Ricky and Clive was the day before that. And you guys will probably see them on the other side of Keeping It Strong Style. We may be back later in the week, but, you know, WWE hasn't really given us much to work with as far as for 2 shows in a week. But maybe we'll come back with that NBA podcast we were talking about a little bit earlier on our live portion of this show. But, James, anything to add before we get up out of here?
No, not really. Florida State has a new coach. That's good.
Yes, we do.
You know,
Willie.
Yeah, Willie. I as a Florida State fan, lifetime Florida State fan, like I never would have imagined. And it never was like something that really crossed my mind, but I never would have thought like, oh yeah, we'd have an African American coach. Not because of, you know, whatever else, just thought of like, you know, it's so far fetched. It's like these, like you hear about, you know, like how hiring goes in college football, how bad it is, and then especially like someone that's had, you know, multiple jobs or whatever. Like I just never thought that would happen. Like a coach that like turned around programs, but because he turned around really bad programs, had a losing record, I never would have thought that person would have got one of the, you know, 5 to 8 best jobs in the country. I just never would have thought that would happen. And wow, it happened. And like this dude's a monster recruiter, and you know, I'm surprised that they actually hired like the best person for the job, and like didn't let, you know, stupid stuff get in the way.
Yeah, man. As y'all can hear, we got that war chant playing in the background. So just to let y'all boys know where we at. We ain't the SEC. We ain't the Big Ten. This is the Knowles, bitch. So best believe. Yeah, let me turn this shit off, you know, before they yank this shit down. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the show. Thank you guys all for listening in on the live feed. All you guys that drop comments in the comment section, and also like I said, around the world and all that. But I dropped a song this week. Y'all should go check it out. You can go to my SoundCloud. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw it at the end of this podcast, so y'all can listen to it. We up out of here. Peace.
Later.
Don't you want to sound rich?
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never come back in style. Make sure these light-skinned niggas never come back in style.
They thought we wasn't coming back.
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never come back in style.
They thought we wasn't coming through.
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never come back in style.
They thought that this was all over.
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never come back in style.
But I'm a light-skinned nigga. Sorry,
my bad.
The time is here. Actually, it been a minute since we all appeared. And I don't know what they were so threatened for. Cause we supposed to be soft, man. Good Lord. I can't believe they believe that. Everywhere you look, man, we back. It been that that way for me long as I can remember. I never found the jokes funny, what is the agenda? They looking at us like we all niggas anyway. Oh, I'm too light-skinned, what they finna say? You got that good head, you related to the boss. Get some new jokes, cause the mother shit's walls. I never had a problem being black, but my own people acting like we ain't really that. On both sides of it, man, and I ain't talking strong, cause they tryna find ways to take us all out at once, but they wanna
make sure these light-skinned niggas never ever come back in style.
They thought we wasn't coming back.
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never ever come back in style.
They thought we wasn't coming through.
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never ever come back in style.
They thought that this was all over.
Make sure these light-skinned niggas never ever come back in style.
I'm a light-skinned N-I-double-G-E-R. What up to Barack? He can tell you it ain't sweet, dog. On the real, I was mad at Ye. Like somebody must have took his lady back in the day, and he held on to it. But this ain't about him. It's the color line between black women and men. And the homie Wale talked all about the shades. Isn't it light-skinned girls from way back in the day? Cause the love gone wrong, and I'm sure folks relate. But get them whack-ass memes the fuck out my face. With your mama or on them, I don't know that nigga. Story of OJ, man, we still nigga. Are we sensitive, bruh? That was Ralph Tresvant, and I'm sure it ain't make him no less of a man. Black is the ace of spade, a yellow is slow down. I'm trying to show y'all we need to be one now, but they wanna
make sure